Namaskar, welcome to this edition of News Bulletin. Have a look on the headlines. Honorable Governor of Odisha visits Rourkela Steel Plant. Contract labor awarded by Rourkela Steel Plant for commendable contribution. And Srujani Mela organized in Material Recovery Department. And now the news in detail. His Excellency Dr. S.C. Jameer, Honorable Governor of Odisha, visited Rourkela Steel Plant on 17th March 2017. He was accompanied by Mrs. Imkong Lemla, Honorable First Lady of Odisha. Dr. Girish Sahni, DG and Secretary DSIR, Government of India, also accompanied them. At the HRD Center of RSP, the visiting dignitaries were received by Mr. Ashwani Kumar, CEO RSP, Mr. P.K. Pradhan, ED P&A, and Mr. Subhendra Das, ED Works. They visited the model room and were given an overview of the plant and its functioning and products. They then visited Blast Furnace 5 and the new plate mill. The dignitaries evinced a keen interest in the processes and products and witnessed the rolling of plates. Earlier on 16th, they arrived at Rourkela and were given a warm welcome at Rourkela House by Mr. Ashwani Kumar and other senior officers of RSP. During the visit, Dr. Jameer graced the convocation of Biju Patnaik University of Technology on 17th March as the chief guest. The dignitaries left Rourkela on 17th evening. An award function under the Instant Recognition Scheme for Contract Labours was organized at the office of the GM Blast Furnace Department of Rourkela Steel Plant on 17 February 2017. Mr. A. Bhaumik, GM Blast Furnace, presented awards to 4 contract labours of Messrs. Tata Projects Limited, 2 contract labours of Messrs. Asha Erectors and 2 contract labours of Messrs. Shakti Enterprises for their outstanding contributions in the repair and renovation job of Blast Furnace 4. Mr. Anup Datta, DGM Blast Furnace Mechanical, Mr. T.G. Kanekar, DGM Personnel CLC, and many other senior officers of Blast Furnace and Personnel CLC department were present on the occasion. Mr. S. Mandal, Mr. Abu Bakar, Mr. Kanta Ram and Mr. K. Ravi of Messrs. Tata Projects Limited were awarded for their commendable job in the revival of the cut-off valve, while Mr. Deepak Das and Mr. M. Kujur of Messrs. Asha Erectors received the awards for their role in the quick revival of the cooling system, and Mr. K. Adhikari and Mr. S. Jaina of Messrs. Shakti Enterprises bagged the awards for their contribution in the efficient revival of the hydraulic system. Earlier, Mr. Kanekar presented a brief on the Instant Recognition Scheme of RSP. Mr. S. Tripathi, Junior Manager Personnel, coordinated the function. It is worth mentioning here that so far 89 contract labour have been awarded under the scheme from various departments of RSP. The award is being given for contribution to save life, plant, machinery, equipments, remove unsafe act or condition, as well as efforts made to save time or cost by applying innovative ideas in working, quality workmanship, and suggestions for bringing improvement in performance of the plant. In order to reinforce the Srujani movement in RSP, a Srujani Mela was organized for employees of Material Recovery Department on 11th March. Mr. Bijit Kumar Mahapatra, GM in charge Services and Utilities, was the chief guest and presided over the function. Present on the occasion were Mr. Swarup Panigrahi, DGM, MRD and HOD, and many other officers and employees of the department. Mr. B.K. Behra, Manager, IED, presented a brief about the status of Srujani in RSP and the department in particular. More than 30 suggestions were generated in the Mela and token gifts were given to each suggester. Mr. Chintamani Mahapatra, AGM MRD, welcomed the gathering, while Mr. N.K. Puruset, SOST MRD, proposed a vote of thanks. The function was coordinated by Mr. Prasanjit Rai, Senior Manager, MRD. And with this, we come to the end of this edition of News Bulletin. Namaskar.